Today's opinion that nobody asked for isn't even coming from me. Today, we're checking out the AEW Reddit. So here we are, we're on the AEW Reddit. I've never checked this before, and I don't even really ever use Reddit. This was just an idea I came up with. First post here, it says the It Factor, and it has the Triangle of Madness here with Tekla, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart, and I definitely see what they mean. If AEW had like women's trios titles, like how they have the male trios titles, they would definitely be the ones holding them. There's no doubt about that. And Tekla already winning the women's championship, the women's world championship, not even like just the TBS title. Shout out Willow for that. I remember when she debuted in AEW, I didn't know who she was before that, but I was instantly a fan of her the second she debuted. And Sky Blue, I've been a fan of her. Same with Julia Hart. So they all work very well. It says the girl in front row knew exactly when to say cut my music. She did too. She had that like perfectly down. I would have never even noticed that. Like watching, I don't know how people notice this shit. I would have never noticed that. Aubrey Edwards has signed a new contract. Is that a good thing? Do we want that? Let's see what the people are thinking in the comments. The first comment, 216 upvotes. Ridiculously deserved. High key, one of AEW's best signings ever. That's crazy. I mean, she has been there since day one. She's like recognizable as like the ref, I guess. Her and Renee, two of the most important non-wrestlers. See, that non-wrestlers is more accurate than just ever. That's kind of, crazy. And then we have another post here for the Triangle of Madness. I didn't even realize how popular they were. Really? That's kind of crazy. 4 years ago today, the GOAT, Toni Storm, made her AEW debut. 4 years already. That's crazy. She actually feels like a whole different person nowadays than like this Toni Storm that like debuted. Like this is a whole different person. Like everything that she's done with Mariah May and just making the women's world title actually feel important. Her and Swerve are two of the biggest like people that came from WWE but are now bigger stars than they were in WWE. Kenny Omega on why AEW partnered with New Japan and CMLL. He says, you were taught, and then, by WWE that nothing else existed prior to what you were watching. What really sticks out is when AEW reached a point where we had an official partnership with New Japan CMLL, and we were willing, able, and eager to show the various professional wrestling sides of the world to our American fans and international fans. That was a main goal for me. I wanted people to experience all the different types of professional wrestling. See, and this is why Kenny Omega is just goated for real. Like, he doesn't want you to just focus on one style of professional wrestling, and, like, that's just AEW as a whole, but, obviously Kenny himself, too, agrees with it, but, like, they want you to see every style, including, New Japan and CMLL. I would not still be a wrestling fan without all of these companies, including AEW, but yeah, it's cool to see people actually think that way as opposed to, like he says, the WWE thought process. Kenny Omega said he texted Cody Rhodes to congratulate him when he got cast as, I don't even know how to pronounce that, but in the Street Fighter movie. So yeah, they still keep in touch, which isn't surprising, obviously they're still going to be good friends. I don't think any of the reasons Cody left AEW was ever due to like Kenny or the Bucks or anybody like that. Lady Frost thanks TK after entering. Oh shit, I didn't even know this. Lady Frost, who was somebody that AEW didn't really use for a lot, but apparently she's a free agent now. So yeah, the more you know, I guess. I can definitely see her potentially going to like NXT or TNA. Actually, I think TNA is probably where she'll end up. If I'm right about that, then you heard it here first. Josh Alexander confirms his knee injury is very severe and surgeons told him he will need to go under surgery next week. Damn. So another person out with injury. Insane photo from Ospreay versus Danielson. This match right here, I was somewhere around up there somewhere. I was here in person for this match. It was in St. Louis. This is the greatest match I've ever seen in general, like just point blank period, and being there in person for it, the energy was insane. Using the oxygen tank to beat Bryan Danielson from...
I've never been tired of Danielson. So they got oxygen on your boy, right? And I'm thinking to myself while I'm wrestling this spaghetti, where do they put that oxygen? So he gets me in a Boston crab, and I grab the rope and I tap.
To make him think it's over.
To make him think the match is...
Right.
I'm on the same wavelength. Big stupid dummy. And he let go of the hold because he thought he had won, because he didn't realize his back was to me in this hold, that I had the hold of the ropes, which means the tap out's null and void. I then roll out of the ring. I found said oxygen tank, knowing this dumb schmagetti schmuck would stick his head out of the ring to try to pull me back in, and I was low enough to the ground in which I knew the referee would not be able to see that I had hit him over the head with the oxygen tank.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, it makes sense. The CEO is cooking something. Tony. I'm not sure I understand. Obviously, you got Tony, maybe Tony Khan. That's about all I have no idea what this could even mean. Huge AEW star to open the show. This was so unexpected. This was his contract with AEW had been frozen this whole time, but everybody thought he was going back there just for him to come back on a random Dynamite. It was in Winnipeg, so it made sense, but just for him to say, "Oh, I'm home" after returning to Dynamite, it was very, very unexpected, and it's crazy how he managed to play everybody like that. That so unexpected. And MJF says Bryan Danielson is the GOAT. Can't say I would, disagree. Let's find one post to end it off here. Okay, we have a post here about Tommaso Ciampa saying all he's done is wrestle bangers since becoming All Elite, and I agree. I've always, since NXT at least, actually since before that, I remember seeing Ciampa at an indie show way back when, before he ever even made it to WWE, but ever since becoming All Elite, he has just been put on bangers. Winning the title in his debut match was crazy, and yeah, just all of that is just insane. And he's put on banger after banger after banger after banger. So it's cool to see him in AEW. I'm glad he's in AEW. I feel like he fits in AEW more, and his gimmick isn't just ha ha ha. He looks like Triple H, Like he actually has more substance now. And that is where I'm gonna call it for this video, guys. If you want to see me do this every week, perchance, I will. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you what you think about the posts. And yeah, if you aren't done with that, I got 2 words for you: stay gold.